Dear students, welcome back to your educational channel Learn and Educate, where we were studying Code of Civil Procedure 1908, under which Section 129, Power of High Courts to make rules as to their original civil procedure. Notwithstanding anything in this code, any high court not being the code of a judicial commissioner may make such rules not inconsistent with the latest patent or order or other law establishing it to regulate its own procedure in the exercise of its original civil jurisdiction as it shall think fit, and nothing herein contained shall affect the validity of such rules in force at the commencement of this code. This states that anything which is contained in this code, then any high court which is not being the court of a civil judicial commissioner, any high court which is not a court of judicial commissioner shall have the right to make rules which are consistent with the later patents or orders of other law established to regulate its own procedure in the exercise of its original civil jurisdiction as it shall think fit, and nothing herein contained as per section in contained in section 129 shall have the effect to validate shall not have the effect to affect the validity of the rules which are made in force at the time of commencement of this code. These are similar to section 122 which we have studied earlier, which states about section 122 power of certain high courts to make rules, in which high courts which are not being the code of a judicial commissioner shall have at the time from time to time after the previous publications shall make rules regarding regulating its own procedures and the procedure of the civil courts which are subject to their superintendents, and such rules shall be annual altered or added to all or any of the rules in the first schedule. And in section 130 it states about the power of the other high courts to make rules as to the matters other than the procedure, a high court not being the court of as defined in section 129, which states that a high court which is having the court of a judicial commissioner shall have the power, with the previous approval of the state governments, with respect to the matters other than the procedure, any rule a high court for the state which might under the article 227 of the constitution of India with respect to any such right matters for any part of the territory under its jurisdiction which is not included within the limits of its presidency town. Thus, as this has also been covered in section 125 previously, power of other high courts to make rules. This states that the high courts other than the courts specified in section 122, which means that the high court which is a high court of a judicial commissioner may exercise the powers conferred by this section in the manner and subject to the conditions as of the state government, provided that such high courts shall after the previous publications make a rule extending within the local limits of its jurisdiction any rules which have been made by the other high courts. Thus, as per this high court which is having the territory under its jurisdiction which is not included within the local limits of a presidency town. Thus, high courts which is a court of a judicial commissioner shall have the with the previous approval of the state governments make with respect to any matters other than the procedure as a rule which a high court for the state might under article 227 of the constitution make with respect to any such matter of any part of the territories under its jurisdiction which is not included within the limits of a presidency town. And section 131 states about publication of rules made in accordance with section 129 or section 130. Rules made in accordance under section 129 and section 130 shall be published in the official gazette, and shall from the date of publication or from such date as may be specified have the force of the law. Thank you for watching.